Okay, so yeah, hello and welcome to another lecture in this course where we now exactly talk about how to exactly use parameters in your method. So yeah, in the last two lectures, on this whole section, you already learned how to create your first method, what a method exactly is, what the structure of a method is, and in the last lecture, you successfully learned why we need parameters, for what they are useful, and how do you use them exactly in a method. And now we'll exactly show you some examples, explain a little bit more, and show you just some examples so you know how to exactly use it. So yeah, let's start. So from the lecture about your first method, you already learned that you have to put your method out of your main class, or out of your main method, sorry. So in your class, but outside of your main method or other methods, because you cannot use a method in a method. Hopefully this is understandable how I'm explaining it right now. So yeah, let's start. So in this case, we will again use public and then the static keyword, because yeah, we are using a static method in a static method, so it has to be static. But don't worry, we will come to this at the end. And then we will start with our void again. So we're not returning any object or value, so we'll just keep it as it is. So public static void, then let's give it a name. In this case, we will say, call it a say. So we'll just call it a say method. So we will now write say. And as you can see, this does not make any sense when we just printing it out, because when we write right here, for example, system out and then print line, in this case, we can write, for example, hello world. But this is not that useful, because, for example, if we have a game, another example of a game, like in the last one of the snake game, you have a game and you want to print out some messages, and you do not want to print out exact the same messages. So what you can do is, we can quickly remove this, and then we can write as parameters into those brackets. We can write, for example, string, and then we can say word to say, something like this. And then we can now print it in as a normal variable, because we're using a data type, as you can see, and then we're using a variable name. And as you learned from the last lecture, let me quickly write it again out. For parameters, we can add as many as we want. We can also use a comma, so separate them by comma, and then just write string word to say to, or something like this, or integer even. We can use an integer, we can use a boolean, and so much, and so much more. So let's add. So in this case, we're using a data type. Data type as normal, and then we're using a variable name. In this case, so this is how exact a parameter work. And what we can do now is, we learned already from the lecture of our first method. We made a method called, I think it was say hello, and then we just written, so when we run this method, we said hello world, something like this, or hello how are you, I think it was. And what we can now do is we can write say, and this is how we print it out, or set to Java, that we there at this point want to run our method. But this won't work, because you can see we're getting an error. It says create method say main. So you can see it says create method in Java, and it says cannot be applied to those brackets. Why? Because Java does not know this method, because I already explained to you that we are able to create multiple methods in Java which have the same name. But in this case, I can create this method, and you will see something that it will work. So let me quickly write this out, and then create method say in main. And as you can see, it works perfectly with the same name. But what's different? In this case, we do not have defined any parameters. But when I write string and then word to say again, you will see Java recognizes as the same method, even if it says private or public. And when we write again integer and then, for example, number, you can see then it's again another method. So we can always use the same name for a method, but then we have also to remember that we always need to use different parameters or even no parameters. So in this case, I will just remove it and show you another example later on. So, but why can't it find it? Because already explained, we need to define a data type, so Java is able to recognize this method and exactly run this method, because without this, it could run any method called say. So in this case, we're right, because we're using a string, we need to put it into those brackets. Even there, we have to follow the Java rules, which you've learned in the basics of Java, where we talked about data types and variables. So yeah, let's write something in here. So we can write say, in case we can write hello world like we normally use, or we can write hello, something like this. We can also use it multiple. So for example, we can use it multiple times. For example, right here we write say, and then let's write hello, how are you today? Anything. You can literally write anything you want. You can write hello, my name is Pascal. Hello, my name is this and this. Hello, I'm 25 years old. Hello, I'm I don't know, I live in Germany. Hello, I live in Brazil. Any lands. You can literally put anything you want, but you have to follow the rules. So we need to use brackets because we're using a string right there. So, and if we run this, we should successfully see, first of all, the message hello world, and then we should successfully see hello, how are you today? And hopefully you will successfully see right now perfectly hello world and hello, how are you today? So this is how this works. So I can show you another example, for example, print number or something. So let's create another method called public static void. Let's call it say num for say num for say number, something like this. So, and in here we're gonna write an integer in this case, or no, we can write it like this. We can write a integer number and then string name. So why? Because I will recall the method into, say, I don't know, info about the people. So what we can do now is we can write system out print line. Oh, sorry, print line. In this case, we write first of all the name, because we want to write, for example, Olaf is 20 years old. So let's do this. Name plus is plus number plus old, something like this. And what we can do now is we can write down below right here, we can just write say info, and here we write, first of all, let's just say Olaf is 25, so we write 25, and then the name we say Olaf, and then down below let's write say info, let's write, I don't know, Kim is 15, sorry, so Kim is 15, and if you write this, so we should first of all get Olaf is 25 years old and Kim is 15 years old, hopefully, and then you will successfully see. So you're able to use this, as you can see, Olaf is 25-year-old and Kim is 15 years old. So as you can see, you can use as many data types as you want. You can literally use the same, but you have to keep in mind you cannot just use, for example, if you want to use multiple strings, for example, we want to add another info like, I don't know, his family name, for example, Olaf, and then the family name. I have no example right now, but then we cannot just use name again because we're not able to use the same variable name for parameters. So in this case, we just call it family, family, and then name, for example. So this is how you could use two or even more strings. So we can write another string, for example, for his address, something like this. So we can use as many strings as we want, as many numbers, as many booleans, as many integers as we want. So we can use any kind of data type as much as we want, because we're able just to define different names for the variables, and then it should successfully work. So yeah, you can see it's very easy to understand. So parameters are a powerful way to change the values into your method. So you're able to use one method and to define different things. For example, in an example, we have like a date in this case, like say a date with 25, 20th, and then I don't know, October, and then October 2021. Any date like this. So what we want to do is we want to insert it right here and then format it, for example. So we can just do format, for example. I will just record it, but no, show you right now. In this case, format date, something like this, and then we'll print it out. And for example, when we learn in the next lecture about returning values, we can, for example, return the formatted date. So this is why we're using returning values and data types and parameters. So yeah, you can see it's a very easy way and a very efficient way how you can handle with it. So you can literally use this method, or I've called it in format date, and let's keep it. And in here we can write anything we want. For example, again, we can write hello world. We can write, I don't know, hello, how are you? Or hello, how was your day? Something like this. So you can literally write anything you want. You can test around with parameters, create your own methods, create own ability methods, create own examples. So it's really easy to use. So already see, you just have to follow the normal method structure, which is mostly public static void and a name, and then you can use as many parameters as you want, test around, maybe use some math text, for example, math, and then you can just test around with things. So yeah, just test around, and then let's learn about how to exactly use parameters. Okay, so yeah, hopefully this little lecture helped you a little bit more for understanding how to exactly use parameters in your Java methods, and I will see you in the next lecture where we'll continue talking about how to exactly learn Java programming. So yeah, see you in the next lecture. Bye.